a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC Worldwide, and Jib Jab greetings. I'm Bud Lowell, your AccuWeather forecast right across the top of all CNC local news pages. An Amtrak train bound for Rochester cut a car in half Thursday evening after the car got stuck on the railroad tracks in the town of Macedon, Wayne County. The car was destroyed, but nobody was hurt. Police say the driver of the car got disoriented at the Quaker Road crossing, ran off the road, and got stuck on the tracks. The driver and the passengers jumped out of the car when they realized what happened. Shortly after that, the westbound passenger train smashed into the car. None of the train passengers or crew were hurt, but the locomotive was disabled. Amtrak officials had buses brought in, and the 87 passengers continued their trip to Rochester. The accident left the CSX railroad tracks blocked at Macedon for several hours. Also in Wayne County, the health department says a Newark teenager has died of complications from influenza. A family spokesperson said 14-year-old Tyler Finn died Wednesday at Strong Memorial Hospital about 2 weeks after coming down with influenza B. Finn was an 8th grader at Newark Middle School. His family issued a statement that reads in part, "The Finn family would like to take this opportunity to thank the many friends, family, and members of our community for your kind thoughts, prayers, and kindness." Wayne County health officials said Finn had gotten a flu shot, but although the vaccine is the best defense available, other than avoiding exposure to the virus, it's only about 60% effective. The health department said people still need to be vaccinated, but should also wash their hands thoroughly and frequently, and stay home from work or school if they feel sick. Lakeside Health Systems in Brockport has announced a major change for Lakeside Hospital. It's no longer going to be a full-service hospital. The emergency department will close and 61 inpatient beds will be eliminated. The hospital is focusing on becoming a diagnostic and treatment center for outpatient care. Lakeside Health would like to see these changes within 2 months. The hospital said in a press release that its CEO and board of directors are working to reshape the Lakeside mission. They see it as an ambulatory surgery center that offers urgent care for most common types of injuries, imaging and diagnostic services, and an outpatient pharmacy. The Bykirk Care Center, the 120-bed nursing home facility, will stay. Last spring, Brockport cut the equivalent of 50 full-time positions to close a revenue gap, and officials said then the hospital would need to reposition itself for long-term survival. Rochester police arrested a 23-year-old city man Thursday for stabbing a West Side man to death with a screwdriver earlier in the week. The arrest of 23-year-old Marcellus Timmons followed the discovery of 52-year-old Todd Davidson's body in his Tacoma Street apartment. Police answering a burglary call found Davidson's body. They say Timmons and the older man fought about 8:30 Wednesday morning. Timmons stabbed Davidson in the head with the screwdriver and then choked him with his hoodie strings. Timmons pleaded not guilty on arraignment in city court. Brighton police have charged a husband and wife with drug and weapons charges after breaking up a marijuana growing operation. Working with the Greater Rochester Area Narcotics Team, Brighton police executed a search warrant at the home of 54-year-old David and Diana Simon on Seminole Way. They found a large quantity of marijuana, growing paraphernalia, and 2 guns. The couple now face charges of criminal possession, criminal sale of a controlled substance, and criminal possession of a weapon. Speaking of weapons, the Ontario County Legislature heard Thursday night in Canandaigua from numerous residents calling for the county to go on record in opposition to New York's tougher gun control law. The legislators have 2 resolutions in front of them. One calls for the NY SAFE Act to be amended, the other for it to be repealed outright. One public speaker said even people who oppose gun ownership ought to be offended at the way NY SAFE was adopted with just a few hours of debate. Another speaker, Assemblyman Brian Cole, who said the public didn't have a chance to look at or discuss the bill, that, he said, is not democracy. The Ontario County legislators decided not to act Thursday night. They'll bring the question up at their next regular meeting on March 7th. A dozen residents of Pittsford Village were in state Supreme Court Thursday in Rochester trying to convince a judge that they'll be directly harmed by the planned apartment complex off Monroe Avenue. Opponents don't want a large-scale development on the former Monaco asphalt plant site. They say traffic's already bad enough on Monroe Avenue and the project is out of scale for the village. The 12 are trying to sue the village of Pittsford to stop development of the Westport crossing on the Erie Canal at Monroe Avenue. The village trustees granted Mark IV Enterprises a special use permit for the 167-unit complex in December. This was after several years of review and hearings. The project is still in front of the village zoning board. Before their case can proceed, Judge John Ark needs to rule on whether the group that calls itself Friends of Pittsford Village has standing. That means they have to convince the judge that the project would harm their interests worse than it would harm the general public's. Judge Ark asked for lawyers from both sides to develop a matrix showing how the law applies to each plaintiff's situation. And it's those arguments that will apparently determine whether the actual merits of the case are ever heard in court. Same store, different day. The Wegmans on Monroe Avenue in Pittsford was evacuated for the second time Thursday night when people smelled smoke and called 911. Firefighters ordered everybody out. They found a heater fan that was smoking, but no actual fire. Employees were allowed back in late Thursday night, and they called in the electricians. The same store was evacuated Monday after a contractor working on the refrigeration plant accidentally broke a line and coolant fumes spread through the building. You'll find links to these and other stories to the left of the player window at the bottom of the page in the gray bar, links you can use to post news directly to us, and the news you share helps determine what we're able to cover for you on GreaseNYLive.com. So the next news is as it happens, updates are when necessary, and I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.